Story 1 of 5. ABC executive resigns amid yacht trip and team exodus during pay negotiations. ABC executive resigns amid yacht trip and team exodus during pay negotiations. Here's what every outlet agrees on. Josh Keach resigned as ABC's head of employee relations and WHS on April 24, 2026, after nearly 2 years with the broadcaster. Keach took 4 of his staff on a private yacht owned by Tom Snow, scion of the billionaire Snow family, owners of Canberra Airport, on March 31, 2026, free of charge. 4 of Keach's 6-person team resigned or left in the first 3 months of 2026, leaving him with just 1 employment relations counsel. The ABC experienced its first strike in 2 decades in March 2026 due to contentious pay negotiations with unions. An in-principle agreement between ABC management and unions was reached in April 2026, pending formal approval. This story was covered by Sydney Morning Herald and The Age. Story 2 of 5. Giorgia Meloni distances herself from Trump amid Iran war tensions. Giorgia Meloni distances herself from Trump amid Iran war tensions. Here's what every outlet agrees on. Donald Trump accused Giorgia Meloni of lacking courage for not joining US-Israeli attacks on Iran in an interview with Corriere della Sera on April 15, 2026, calling her unacceptable and saying she doesn't care if Iran has a nuclear weapon. Meloni suspended Italy's automatic renewal of its defense cooperation agreement with Israel on April 15, 2026, citing the current situation, including Israeli strikes near Italian UN peacekeepers in Lebanon. Trump publicly criticized Pope Leo, described as weak and catering to the radical left, in early April 2026, prompting Meloni to call his remarks unacceptable. Italy blocked US military planes from using a Sicilian airbase for Iran war operations in late February 2026, marking a shift from earlier support. Meloni's government suffered a setback in a March 2026 referendum on judicial reform, interpreted as a vote of no confidence in her leadership. But not all outlets told the same story. The Guardian states Meloni suspended the defense pact with Israel on April 15, 2026, while ABC does not specify a date but confirms the suspension occurred the same day as Trump's interview. The Guardian mentions Meloni met Zelensky on April 17, 2026, but ABC does not report this meeting. The Guardian cites Meloni's government as stable but compact with no major domestic achievements, while ABC implies her domestic challenges stem primarily from the Iran war and Trump alliance. This story was covered by ABC News and The Guardian. Story 3 of 5. Lithium battery fire at Byron Bay bike shop causes explosions and evacuations. Lithium battery fire at Byron Bay bike shop causes explosions and evacuations. Here's what every outlet agrees on. Fire and Rescue NSW received multiple 000 calls at 12:47 p.m. on the 16th of April, 2026 for a building fire at a bike shop in Byron Bay. 6 staff from the commercial premises were safely evacuated during the fire. Firefighters reported possible lithium-ion batteries exploding inside the building, complicating firefighting operations. The fire occurred in a 2-level building with residential units above the bike shop. Firefighters were confronted with challenging conditions due to thick smoke and explosions. But not all outlets told the same story. Newscomer reports the fire was at Freedom Machine on Byron Street, while ABC reports it was on Johnson Street. Newscomer mentions the fire occurred at 1 p.m., but does not specify the exact time of the first 000 call, while ABC states calls were received just before 1 p.m. This story was covered by ABC News and news.com.au. Story 4 of 5. US-Iran ceasefire talks, Strait of Hormuz blockade, and regional conflict updates. US-Iran ceasefire talks, Strait of Hormuz blockade, and regional conflict updates. Here's what every outlet agrees on. The 2-week ceasefire between the US and Iran is set to expire on the 22nd of April, 2026, with indirect talks ongoing to extend it. Pakistan's Army Chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir, led a delegation to Tehran on the 16th of April, 2026 to discuss ceasefire extension and peace negotiations. The U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports in the Gulf of Oman and Arabian Sea was fully implemented by the 16th of April, 2026, with 10 vessels turned back in the first 48 hours. The Chinese-owned tanker *Rich Starry*, flagged to Malawi, left the Persian Gulf on the 4th of April, 2026 empty, returned with oil on the 11th of April, and was turned back by the U.S. blockade on the 12th of April, 2026. Iran's military warned on the 16th of April, 2026 that it would block all trade in the Gulf region if the U.S. blockade continued, citing national sovereignty. But not all outlets told the same story. The SMH states the U.S. blockade was ordered by and started on Monday, the 15th of April, while The Guardian does not specify the exact start date but confirms it was fully implemented by the 16th of April. The SMH reports that the U.S. has not formally requested a ceasefire extension, while The Guardian's White House press secretary aligns with this but adds Trump suggested an extension may not even be necessary. The SMH mentions Trump's Truth Social post about Israel-Lebanon talks was unclear, with no response from the Israeli PM's office, while The Guardian does not reference this post but focuses on Netanyahu's public statements. This story was covered by The Guardian and Sydney Morning Herald. Story 5 of 5. Former barrister Norman O'Brien pleads guilty to fraud in Banksia Securities class action. Former barrister Norman O'Brien pleads guilty to fraud in Banksia Securities class action. Here's what every outlet agrees on. Norman O'Brien, 68, pleaded guilty to one charge of attempting to obtain a financial advantage by fraudulently inflating legal fees in the Banksia Securities class action case. Banksia Securities collapsed in 2012 owing $663 million, affecting 16,000 Australian investors. A $64 million settlement was reached in late 2017 between class action participants and Trust Co., acting as trustee for Banksia Securities. Supreme Court Judge John Dixon issued a scathing judgment in 2021 finding O'Brien and others fraudulently inflated legal fees and misled the court. O'Brien's final invoice claimed $2.35 million for 1876 hours of work, with rates fluctuating up to $1,500 per hour and $15,000 per day. But not all outlets told the same story. News Kamal states the total amount O'Brien fraudulently billed is unknown due to the lack of records, while Thege estimates it was more than $1 million. News Kamal refers to the victim as Keith Pillman, while Thege refers to him as Keith Pittman, likely a typographical error in Thege. News Kamal specifies O'Brien's final invoice was sent to Peter Trimbos for the settlement, while Thege does not mention Trimbos by name. This story was covered by news.com.au and The Age.